Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have another story time video for you guys, and if you watched my one from last week, I talked about the time where I peed my pants in front of my crush, and in this story time video I'm going to be telling you all about the time when I got caught sneaking out with my boyfriend. So if you guys haven't caught on by now, I was a pretty bad kid. I basically was one of those kids that did the opposite of everything that their parents wanted them to do. I have a few more stories talking about more about my teenage adolescent years, but I did a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have done, and I did a lot of sneaking around behind my parents' back, and I did a lot of lying as well. So yeah, this story is going to be talking about a time when I was a very bad kid. So back when I was 16, I was dating this guy, and we dated for about 3-4 years. So he was like my first serious boyfriend, and he had this friend, and this friend happened to be Chance. Yes, I dated my ex-boyfriend's best friend, so just call me whatever you want, but yeah, that happened. So that was around the time when I, got to know Chance, and I started talking to Chance and, hanging out with him and stuff. Well, him and my boyfriend at the time were still really close friends, so they would hang out every weekend, and they did some things that you should never do behind your girlfriend's back, but they did it anyway. Not gonna get into that, but yeah, they would hang out every weekend, and I wanted to go along with them a couple times. I'd be like, oh, can I hang out with you guys too? Because I had no friends and I was a lowlife. So a couple times a month I would sneak out of my dad's house, and I would go and hang out with them, and we would go and get high, we would get drunk, just all that bull crap that just isn't good, but it happened, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So yeah, around this time I was 16 years old, and my boyfriend at the time and Chance were hanging out doing their thing, and they were like, hey, do you want to hang out with us? We're bored, we're not doing anything. So I was like, hey, why not? What the hell? I don't mind getting drunk and high tonight, cool. And it was a Friday night, so I was at my dad's for the weekend, and I didn't have school the next day or anything like that. So yeah, I start getting ready for the night, and doing my makeup, putting on a cute little dress, because I thought I was just the shit. And my sister was also at my dad's at the time, and I told her, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go hang out with my boyfriend and Chance tonight, so make sure that when I leave you lock the door so dad doesn't just come walking in, blah blah blah. And I was telling her all this stuff to do. So it was about 12:30-ish, and around the time I would sneak out, it would be 1:45 is when I would actually leave, because my dad would usually have his last cigarette for the night around 1:45. So I knew as soon as he turned off the light in the laundry room, that's how I knew that he was done going outside for the night. So I was like, okay, cool. And he lived on a lower level, and the window, one of the windows didn't have a screen in it, so all I had to do was just open the window and jump on out. So basically, I kept an eye out the window. I was all ready to go. I told my sister the game plan, and I was watching out the window, and around 12:45 in the morning, I see my dad turn off the laundry room light. So I was like, okay, perfect. He's not going outside anymore. I can sneak out, I can leave, no problem. And Chance and my boyfriend at the time were down the street waiting in his truck to come and pick me up, and I told him, I was like, I'll text you when I'm ready to go. Every time I would go to sneak out, I would tell my dad, I'd be like, okay dad, I'm going to bed. Or I'd be like, I have a headache, I'm just gonna go to sleep, or something along those lines, so he wouldn't come in the room to talk to me or anything like that. Really horrible. I was, oh god, such a horrible kid. Don't do what I did. And so yeah, that's what we did. So I was like, okay, just be quiet, because I told dad we were going to sleep. So I did all that. I jump out of the window, no problem. I shut the window, shut everything off, it's all good. So then I, text my boyfriend, I'm like, okay, I'm ready, and they pick me up down the street, and we were off. We start listening to music, we're smoking, and we're having a good time, and we decide to go to a restaurant that was open 24 hours, a breakfast restaurant, just to kind of sit, chill, have something to eat, chillax, and then see what else we were going to do the rest of the night, which God only knows what the hell we were going to do the rest of the night. So yeah, we're sitting there, and we were there for maybe 10 minutes, 10 minutes tops, and I get a text on my phone, and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? I check my phone, and I see that is a text from my sister, who I already said bye to, and she knew I wasn't going to be back the rest of the night. And the text said, you need to come home Dad just found out. Fuck. That was literally my reaction. I was looking at my phone, I was like, fuck. Like, we haven't even gotten our menus or anything yet. Like, it was literally right when we got there. Like, I wasn't even with them for like a half hour yet. We got to the restaurant, we couldn't even get our menus yet, and then I was freaking busted. So yeah, my sister texted me saying that, you know, my dad found out I snuck out, and I need to come home. So, me being so fucking embarrassed because I just ruined their night that they have to waste gas to bring me all the way back there. And, you know, it was super embarrassing because the waitress at the restaurant was looking at me like I was this like stupid dumbass teenager who, you know, it was just super embarrassing. So we get back in the car and I'm like driving back to my dad's house and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna tell my dad right now? Like, I literally just got caught sneaking out. And we come up with this idea that I was with my friend who lived down the street. So I was just gonna tell him that. Now, I don't know if my sister told my dad that I was with my boyfriend. I have no idea what the hell went on. So, okay, what we did is we got back, and we got off the exit, and I had them drop me off like maybe like a mile, or not a mile, maybe like 5 minutes away from my dad's house so I could start walking. And I start walking up to my dad's house, and of course he's outside waiting for me, you know, like dad does, like he's fucking waiting and he's ready to like yell at me. So I walk up to him and he's like, so where were you? And you know, I start like busting out in the, oh, I was with my friend's house down the street, she was having a really bad night, so I thought I would go see her, blah, 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 blah. You know, just like bullshitting everything that's coming out of my mouth. And he looks at me and he's like, if you ever do that again, I don't want you to ever come here again. All pissed off. And you know, like, I'm a huge daddy's girl, so to hear my dad tell me that if I ever did this again, that he would never want me to come see him again, like, that like made me cry. Like, I love my dad, and having him like say that to me, I was like, ah. So yeah, I knew I was in a shit ton of trouble. So I get back inside and I go and talk to my sister. I'm like, what the fuck, didn't you lock the door? And she's like, I thought you locked the door. So basically how I got caught is my dad went into our room that me and my sister shared at the time because he wanted to talk to my sister because my sister was getting picked up the next day, so he needed to know what time she was leaving. So he knocks and opens the door when it was supposed to be locked, mind you, and I wasn't even in there. So, and my sister's on the computer and she looks at him and she's like, oh, hi, Dad. And he walks in and he's like, where's Bree? And like, we had like a blanket up on the window, so if he did go outside the rest of the night, that he would think that we were asleep because it was dark. So we had like a blanket over the window. We had like, it was just so bad. And she was like, she's not here? And he was like, what the hell do you mean she's not here? And she told him I snuck out. Now, I don't know if she told him that I snuck out with my boyfriend, or I don't know what she told him. So I don't know if my dad knew I was lying to him, like right to his face. Being the little rebel bitch that I was as a 16-year-old kid, I texted my boyfriend, I said, don't leave yet, I'm coming back out. Literally just listening to my dad tell me, if you ever do that again, I don't ever want to see you again, and me telling my boyfriend, don't go anywhere because I'm going to come back out. Fucking ridiculous. And it was maybe like 1:30, and my dad usually goes to bed at like 2 in the morning every night because, you know, he's retired, so he doesn't like need to go to bed early for any reason. So I basically tell him, I'm like, you know, don't go anywhere, my dad's gonna go to bed soon and I'll come back out. So I'm literally, you know, I go back out in the living room, I'm like, you know, Dad, I'm really, really sorry, blah, 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 and he's like, just go to bed. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll talk to him later. So I go back in the room and, you know, my sister's already going to sleep, and I tell her, I'm like, okay, I'm going back out. And she's like, are you fucking stupid? Like, you literally just got caught and you're gonna go back out? Ugh, I know, really stupid on my part, but I was like, yeah, I'm going back out because I want to hang out with my boyfriend. Like, that's like just my mentality. So around 2 o'clock, my dad finally goes to bed. It's pitch silent. And, you know, they're texting me, they're like, are you coming? Like, we've been sitting here for like 45 minutes, you know, what's the deal? And I'm like, I just want my dad to fall asleep first. And my dad snores really, really loud. So I knew he was asleep when he started snoring. So I was like, okay, now it's time to go. I lock the door, I make sure it's locked, and I make sure I'm quiet as possible. I open the window, and you know, my apartment building, because I live in the same building as my dad now, like years later, I live in the same building, and the windows are very, very old, they're very, very rickety, and they're very loud. So, you know, I was just trying to be so quiet, opening this window. I jump out, close it, wait for a second to see if I can like hear my dad yelling, and then I go. I leave. I leave and I go and get back in the truck and take off again with my boyfriend and Chance, who was his friend at the time. So that's how stupid I was, you know, going back out after literally getting caught sneaking out. So yeah, the whole rest of the night, you know, we went back to, you know, Chance's house, because we all used to hang out together, and, you know, we started smoking weed, you know, listening to music, drinking alcohol, and then we decided to go for a walk, and we're like walking through this park, and obviously it's closed because it's like 3 in the morning at this point, and we're just walking through this park, and guess who drives by? A freaking police officer. A police officer goes through the park, like, to make sure there's no, like, you know, mischief going on at the park when it's supposed to be closed. And we were all 3 in there, and of course me, who literally just got caught sneaking out, who is a minor, they would call my parents. So I was like, fuck, we can't get caught. So on this playground, there was like a rock climbing thing for like kids, and it had like all these like little hidden spaces. So all 3 of us are like crammed in this little hidden space on this like thing, waiting for the police to go away and like drive away. And this whole time I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god, I just got caught sneaking out. They can't catch me. They can't call my parents. Oh my god, what if my dad finds out? And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, let's just walk out. Let's just go. Let's just leave. They can't arrest us if we're just leaving, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they were telling me to like, shut the fuck up, because I was being so loud and obnoxious and just paranoid because of all the fucking weed that I smoked that night. But, yeah, that was the time that I got caught sneaking out, and yeah, that was my night. Really, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys have ever done anything like this. If you would like a preview of my next storytime video, I'm going to be telling you about the time when I almost got hit by a truck. And no, I'm not kidding either. So make sure you stay tuned for that video. It'll probably be up. I want to try to do these like once a week or something like that. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. Let me know what you guys think of these storytime videos so far. If you enjoyed, give a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to go down and subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. But until then, I will see you guys very soon in my next video. I love you guys.